Brought to you by Dubois Productions. Hello and welcome back to Inno and JB Sports Pedigree. We are back to provide insight on a wide variety of sports topics. You know how we do it. We're going to talk a little baseball, a little football, maybe some soccer, anywhere in between. Who knows where we'll go this week, but we will definitely be giving you some honest perspective and opinion, and we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun while we do it. The goal is for you to have fun right along with us. So let's not waste any more time. We're going to dig right in. I am JB.
And I am the one and only Into the.
Oh,
That's it.
Oh, just sorry. How you doing this week?
I'm doing good, my brother. How are you?
Oh, doing well, sir. Doing well. So we're going to get back at it this week with some more top 5 action.
Man, we always got to come back to the top 5s. You know how it is.
Absolutely. We're now in the outfield. We're going to start out in left with the top 5 left field. Let me tell you, this was a tough one.
Oh my goodness, it was hard. Just the order in oh my gosh, it was tough.
Yeah, I had at least one guy that I left off, maybe 2 that were very challenging. And, this is one where I probably could have twist my arm. I could probably do a top 10, but yeah, like you said, putting them in order, man. So let's get at it. Who's kicking it off?
JB, you bust it out first.
All right,
man.
Bust it out with my number 5 left fielder of all time. None other than the greatest leadoff hitter of all time, Ricky Henderson. Ricky's 5'10", 180 pounds, played from 1979 to 2003. So this dude played in 4 decades. Golly.
Yeah.
Before Vince Carter. Ricky batted .279 for his career, nearly 300 home runs from almost solely the leadoff spot, a little over 1,100 ribbies, and all-time leader in steals and runs scored, 1,406 stolen bases. I believe the last episode mentioned you could steal 70 bases for 20 years in a row and still not break his record, so crazy.
Yeah.
He did have an MVP in his career, 1 Gold Glove, probably a bit underrated defensively, 3 Silver Sluggers. Ricky led the league in runs 5 times, hits once, steals 12 times, surprise there. He also led the league in on-base percentage once and OPS once. That was surprising to me. He scored 100 runs 13 different times. Had over 150 hits 6 times, 30 doubles 5 times, actually hit over 20 home runs 4 times. Guy had pop, man. Stole over 30 bases 24 times, stole over 50 bases 14 times, and over 100 bases 3 times.
My God.
Batted over 308 times. Had over 1,000 OPS twice in a career 820 OPS for a guy that you consider, top of the lineup guy, speed guy. It's pretty impressive, and I'd take Ricky on my team. I never was a big fan of his because I always played for the doggone A's and Yankees, but, man, I'd take him on my team any day.
Well, shoot. I'm quite surprised. Did you say only 12 times stolen base champ?
Yeah, that's it. Isn't that crazy? Figured it'd be more.
Man. I figured it'd be more too for.
Well, you had guys like Vince Coleman back in the day, and some guys like that too. So
that's a good point, JB. Alrighty, Ricky Henderson is on my list as well, but he's not number 5.
Okay.
Carl Yastrzemski.
Oh, Carl
is number 5 on my list. 23 years on the Boston Red Sox.
Woo.
I'm gonna just be frank. He made it over Manny Ramirez because of his defensive adequacy on my list.
Wow.
7 Gold Gloves. This guy made 18 All-Star teams, won 3 batting titles, and had 3,419 hits, a career 379 on-base percentage, 452 home runs, JB.
Wow.
In 1967, this dude won the Triple Crown.
He did.
He won it. 44 home runs, 121 RBIs, 112 runs, AL MVP in that 1967 season, man. So we know he could get it done on the offensive end, but those 7 Gold Gloves are why he snuck on the list over a few other players. He was also the AL home run leader, RBI leader in that 1967 season. Like, it was just an iconic year for him that got him on my list, and that's why he's number 5.
You know, my bro, I am glad that you had Yaz on your list because he was number 6 on my list, and I really wanted to talk about him, so I'm glad you did. I think probably for left field, I don't value defense as much, and maybe I should. Maybe it's just a personal thing, but yeah, glad you had him. And I do have Manny on my list as my number 4 all-time left fielder. It was hard to keep him off just for his the prowess of being a hitting machine that he was, and yeah, a lot to be desired defensively, sure. Which I think he got away with playing a lot in left field in Boston, but he's 6 foot, 225-pound guy, played from 93 to 2011, a career .312 hitter with 555 home runs and over 1,800 ribbies. Somehow Manny never won an MVP. You know, and I kind of feel like, you know, how baseball writers are. I kind of feel like he was not necessarily well-liked, and that really was detrimental to a lot of voting. Because I don't understand, when you look at some of the seasons he had, he won 9 Silver Sluggers. He led the league in homers once, RBIs once, average once, on-base percentage 3 times, slugging 3 times, and OPS 3 times. Scored 100 runs 6 times, had 150 hits 11 times, 30 doubles 12 times, 30 home runs 12 times, 40 home runs 5 times, 100 ribbies 12 times, batted over 313 seasons, and had 1,000 OPS 9 different times. Manny Ramirez career OPS is 996. I'm not sure if that's top 10 all time, but it's close. And for the span of 1995 to 2008, which is really the bulk of, you know, his peak of his career, it's about 14 years, he averaged batting .317 with 36 home runs and 119 RBIs for that 14-year span. So, yeah, couldn't leave him off. Flipping hitting machine. Again, another guy, never really was a huge fan when he played, but can't deny the talent. So he's number 4. Who's your number 4?
Definitely, JB. And we can't go what stats those were, right? And he just barely missed my list.
Right?
Just barely
That's how
missed
tough
it.
This was.
You know, it really was, man. And my number 4 player, as I alluded to earlier, a guy who was JB's number 5 that made my list as well, Ricky Henderson. And JB pretty much laid out all the stats for Ricky Henderson at number 4. So I'm going to go ahead to my number 3 player of all time.
Okay.
In left field, we're talking an old-time great, Stan Musial.
Stan the man.
331 career batting average, y'all.
That's crazy, bro.
417 on base percentage, 3,630 hits, and 24 all-star teams. The stats are never ending. Honestly, with the last 3 guys on my list, the stats are never ending.
Yeah, I think we got the same top 3 for sure.
We do. Of course we do. He won 3 MVPs and finished second 4 times. So he easily could have had 7 MVPs. Won 4 World Series with the Cardinals as well. JB, is he number 3 on your list?
He is. He's my number 3.
I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna take all the stats. JB, what you got?
Man, I got so many stats. I love my stats. Well, all right, I'll start from me. He was a little, not as big of a guy as I would have thought because I didn't really get to see him play. 6 foot, 175 pounds. Dude could just rake. I kind of think of him as more like, he hit home runs, but he was kind of like that gap, kind of a Joey Votto before Joey Votto with obviously better numbers and more power, but just kind of that gap-to-gap doubles guy. Played from 1941 to 63. 1,951 RBIs. Guy just drove runs in. All right, so here we go. He led the league in runs scored 5 times, hits 6 times, doubles 8 times, led the league in triples 5 times. You know he had 220 triple seasons?
Oh, my gosh.
And 18 in another. Led the league in ribbies twice, walks once, averaged 7 times, on-base percentage 6 times, slugging 6 times, OPS 7 times. Crazy. And like you said, dude was an all-star every single year he played. I don't know. We have to look that up, but I don't know if there's. I don't remember seeing anybody else like that anyway. He scored 100 runs 11 different seasons, 150 hits 15 times. 6 times in his career had over 200 hits. Over 30 doubles 16 times. Over 40 doubles 9 times. And hit over 50 doubles in a season 3 times.
Wow.
Had double-digit triples 8 times. 30 home runs or more 6 times. This is, man, okay.
It just never stops.
Yeah, 100 RBIs 10 times, but he hit over 318 times in a season. His first 17 years.
This guy is he's number 3 on our list.
And he's number 3. 1,000 OPS in a season 9 times, and his career OPS is 976. Ridiculous. So again, I did a little compilation. I love doing this stuff. You guys know this. So from 43 to 57, minus 1 year. I don't know if it was like a strike year or maybe he was injured, but he hardly didn't have any stats. I'm sure you probably saw that. So what is that? From 43 to 57, basically 14 years again for Stan Musial. He averaged every season for this 14-year stretch, which is most of his prime. He averaged batting .341 with 26 homers, 107 ribbies, 11 triples, and 41 doubles.
I got the job done.
Goodness gracious.
Guy got the job done. Man, what a guy.
I mean, you could easily make an argument for number 1 for him, you know?
All the top 3 players, JB, and you might as well go ahead with your number 2, because I'm guessing we have the same number 2.
I am. My number 2 is also an old-timer, Ted Williams.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. You know, he's a hitting machine of all hitting machines. I'll let you start off if you want to share what you got about Ted.
Of course. 344 career batting average. This was a guy who smashed the ball. 521 career home runs. 1,839 RBIs. Wasn't a member of the 3,000 hit club, but it doesn't matter because this dude had a 482 on base percentage.
Crazy.
634 slugging percentage. He won 6 batting titles, 2 MVPs, 2 Triple Crowns. However, he never won a title. And people like to listen. Baseball's individual stat-wise, but when it comes to winning championships, you got to have a great team. JB, go ahead. I'll let you take it from there, man.
Well, you know, 6'3", 205, played from 39 to 60, minus 3 years. You know, he played really the beginning when he's just starting in his prime. He went and fought in the war for 3 years. I think Stan Musial fought for a year. I forgot to mention. So these two guys here, you know, are missing out the prime of their career to fight for their country, which is crazy to me.
That's right.
You know, think about, can you imagine somebody doing that today? I don't know. Anyway, so highest on-base percentage ever, as you said, and I believe he was also an all-star every year he played. So there's another guy. He led the league in runs 6 times, doubles twice, home runs 4 times, ribbies 4 times, walks 8 times, on-base percentage 12 times, and OPS 10 times. He scored 100 runs 9 times, 150 hits 10 times, 30 doubles 8 times, 30 home runs 8 times, 100 ribbies 9 times, and he hit over 319 out of the 20 seasons that he played. Machine. He had a over 500 on base percentage in 5 different seasons.
Goodness gracious, man.
And how about this?
Gracious.
His OPS, which again, you know how much I value that particular stat. He was over 1,000 OPS 19 out of the 20 seasons that he played. This dude could just, I mean, and again, hitting's one of those things I think translates throughout time. I think, you know, you put him in any era, dude just hits the ball. And again, put a little compilation together. His best seasons were really the first half of his career. His first 10 years that he played, he averaged hitting 346 with 33 homers and 126 RBIs for every year. You could just put that on the board. Crazy.
It's beyond crazy, JB.
And crazy
beyond
that he's
crazy.
not, number one with stats like that. So who's number one?
Some guy who, has a lot of investigations done about him from about 2001 to 2006 involving doping. But you guys, you know the story. We don't really got to go deeply into that. We're talking about Barry Bonds. Best player of all time, period. Best player of all time, period. 298 career average, 762 home runs, almost 2,000 RBIs, 514 stolen bases, 444 on base percentage, 7 MVP awards,
That's
including
insane, dude.
4 in a row from 01 to 04. And let's get into the allegations a little bit, because he won 3 of those MVP awards before the steroid stuff, leading me to believe that his stats wouldn't have been much different, without all that stuff going on. Got it done on defense as well. 8 consecutive Gold Glove awards, 12 Silver Slugger awards, and when you kind of just talk about the situation a little bit, when Bonds is saying that, the Balco scandal, the rubbing the cream on and the putting the clear under his tongue, but the MLB tested and said that, he injected anabolic steroids into his body and whatnot. I don't know who's honest. I don't know who's lying about the situation, but I do know this. Barry Bonds could rake and play defense and was going to be a beast regardless, whether he did that or not, So that's why Barry Bonds is number 1 on my list. JB, I'm sure you have a lot to add.
I do, and I don't disagree with any of that. That 514 steals, that just blows my mind for everything. You want to talk about the epitome of a 5-tool player, just all of it. I did forget to mention Ted Williams' career OPS is 1,116 for his career. All right, sorry. So back to Barry. You mentioned kind of the career. I'll go into led the league in runs once. Only led the league in home runs twice. That surprised me, but I'll get to that a little more. Led the league in ribbies only once. Led the league in walks 12 times, batting average twice, on-base percentage 10 times, slugging 7 times, and OPS 9 times. Obviously, all-time career leader in home runs and walks. 100 runs scored in 12 different seasons, 150 hits in 7 seasons, 30 doubles, 10 seasons, hit over 30 home runs 14 times, and over 40 home runs 8 times, had over 100 driven in 12 times, over 30 steals 9 different seasons, batted over 300 11 times, and over 500 on base 4 different times. How about 16 straight seasons having over 1,000 OPS? Oh my goodness. And his career, again,
that is insane.
1,051 OPS for his career. So a little bit more inside the numbers for him. He had seasons of 336, 46 homers, and 123 ribbies, followed by 308, 42 homers, 129 ribbies, and 40 steals. You look at some of these just ludicrous statistical numbers, and this was with everybody fearing him, not pitching to him. So it's hard enough to hit the baseball. The hardest thing in any sport to do, and then you take into account that everybody knows you're the best, and they're not throwing you anything to hit, and he's still doing this, right?
That's right. Once it gets near the plate, he's bombing it. And the thing about Barry Bonds was that not only was he a very feared home run hitter, we've also proven that when he got on base, you also had to worry about him stealing. And you don't really see that combination of somebody who's such a slugger very often. And also being such a threat to steal base and a great defensive player, man. Like you said, the ultimate 5-tool player.
Absolutely. And a couple other things just to kind of put in perspective. So the season he had in 1999, 60% of his hits were extra base hits. So doubles, triples, or homers. 60% of his base hits in that year. And just for comparison, the best team in baseball this year, 38% the Yankees hits are extra base hits. And the best individual player this year, Austin Riley of the Braves, is just shy of 50%. So
yeah,
nobody really comes close. Like, that's unheard of.
Sorry.
And of course, I did a little more research from 1990 to 2004. Really, just the prime of his peak. He averaged batting .313 with 41 homers and 108 RBIs.
There you go.
And there
you have it.
Yeah, there were seasons when he was not on great teams and didn't have a whole lot around him, and he was still just producing like that. So yeah, I would maybe debate greatest ever. I mean, there's no doubt he very well might be, but definitely best left fielder all time. I don't think there's much of a debate there.